Hello and welcome to another beautiful night of soccer at Eastern Stadium. Marshall, 48 hours ago, Joe Biden had a terrible debate performance, confirming all of his opponent's worst conspiracy theories and everything else, and yet, in the wake of that, he had a Waffle House appearance that went viral on TikTok. He went to a couple rallies. The vibes shifted. What I'm saying, Marshall, is over the last 3 hours, this Lansing Common squad has shifted the vibes in a big way. Came into today on 2 straight losses for the first time in club history. And then a 4-2 defeat handed to this Northern Indiana squad in the early reserve game in front of almost no fans. Ate some good pizza. Here we go. What do you like about today?
Here we go, Josh. It's good to be back. Good to see these guys back on our screen again. Looking forward to seeing them competing tonight. And I asked you earlier, the Robins have put themselves in a little bit of a position where it's kind of some uncommon territory for them. No pun intended, but I'm looking forward to seeing them compete tonight against a really good Northern Indiana squad who is 7-0, 21 points. They lead the division by a landslide. Just looking forward to seeing the Robins to come out and competing to not only get 3 points, but get themselves back into a good standing within the division standings.
You got it. We know the vibes right now are a little better than they were 3 hours ago. We know this Northern Indiana team is really good on paper. We know they are chock full of Bethel University kids. That is the defending NAIA champions. We know that they rolled in here with more or less the same squad against Lansing Common's reserves 3 hours ago. Got beat flat out 4-2 against, no doubt, a second team from Lansing Common. So we don't really know what to expect, but we know that this is a must-get-a result for Lansing Common. They are not quite mathematically eliminated, but they've got 3 in the loss column. As you said, Northern Indiana 7-0-0. This always happens in the Midwest Premier League. You would think that 2 points a game is a division-leading, championship-winning pace, but not in the Midwest Premier League. It seems that over our club's history, Lansing Common is always right at that, about 2 points a game pace, and somebody different every single year comes in and just goes on an absolute tear. This year it's Northern Indiana. We don't really know what to expect today, but let's talk about the squad. We got a 5-4-1 today. We know we've got a talented midfield. Ty Uziak, Jack Heald, Avery Dresky, Brett Swatton up on the right wing today for Lansing Common, and Jack Voigt playing the 9. And then we've got a back 5, which we know this coaching staff doesn't feel super comfortable rolling out. But we know that necessity sometimes is the mother of invention. And so TJ Withrow and Max Crawford will be the fullbacks today. Ben Derby, Kevin Payne, and Spencer Powell will be that back line. A lot of times this year, the goals have come for Lansing Common's opponents because of just outright disorganization along that back line. It's not been any fault of Sean O'Mara, who's not in the squad today. It's just been a mess. And so this back 5, I think, a little bit of attempt to stem that tide.
Yeah, Josh, completely agree. We saw that a little bit just in terms of the last couple games where the defensive line just looks like they haven't been communicating properly, and unfortunately it's led to some goals for the offense that they're facing. But looking forward to seeing today just them bounce back and seeing KP and Ben Derby kind of hold down that back line for them.
Absolutely. Sincerest apologies to the fans if there are if there's any ambient noise coming from the wind in our microphones. What I will not apologize for is having that back door open in this booth. We are not in an air-conditioned environment. It's a little warm up here. That wind is whipping right through, and it feels, I know, a lot better than it would if we had that door closed. So I apologize for that. We are off.
We are off.
Northern Indiana.
Let's go.
Playing negative off the kickoff. We don't have any names, as usual, Marshall, for our opponents. We have no roster. We know what we've heard, which is that they got a lot of Bethel guys. They got a lot of talent on this squad. They are a deep squad. They have not lost. They have not drawn all year.
I was going to say, it shows in the 21 points that they have gained through their first 7 games. Not one loss, not one draw, just a really talented team. Obviously, if they have a lot of players from Bethel who are the defending NIA champions, so obviously it's going to be a very talented roster, but looking forward to seeing the Robins compete against these guys.
Last time we had a guest up here, it was Coach Ross Anderson from Olivet University, who said the worst mistake you could make as a coach is taking the best attacker on the field in Brett Swatton and putting him at fullback. Looks like Lansing Common has corrected that today. They got him up on the wing.
Yeah, it's good to see Swatty up there. I know you had mentioned that the last couple weeks in just terms of not necessarily because he's fully capable of playing fullback back there, but it's where his strengths are most used in terms of how talented he is and how he can put this team in better position to win. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see him up the right side today.
Fullback depth is something that these Robins have just struggled with this year because it's always been a strong suit of this club, and so putting the pieces together has been a little bit of a struggle for Coach Brent Sorg, but he thinks he's got what it takes to get a result today against Northern Indiana.
Swatty just looks like he was just offsides there a little bit.
No surprise, he's always looking to go forward. And that's something that we heard in the locker room in the previous game and in the run-up to this game as well, is forward, forward, forward. And frankly, having watched that SC 1927 game in person last weekend in Fort Wayne, that was really the missing piece. Is a lot of times guys had space over the shoulder to go forward, and they were playing negative constantly. And so getting the guys to recognize that space and take it, super important today.
For sure.
As you see that classic press that has come to define the 2024 Robins, as Ty almost forces a turnover. They play right around him, gives a little something extra to the center back there.
And I love seeing that extra ambition from players like Ty. You know, Lansing Common has put themselves in a little bit of a position where their backs are a little bit against the wall now for the rest of the regular season. And so just seeing them come out with some edge, seeing them come out with some fight when they know that that a win here would go a really long way. I'm looking forward to just seeing a good full 90 minutes of soccer from them.
Great touch by TJ Withrow there to push it up. And another thing, a hallmark of a Brent Sorg-led team that we've talked about a lot this year is the fullbacks just playing super far up the field, which in this back five, you're still seeing that. As Lansing Common off the ball right now seems to be settling almost into a back four. TJ Withrow staying stapled to his man. Max Crawford now coming up. But those center backs are back, making sure that nothing is left to chance back there, which has unfortunately come back to bite them too many times this year.
As Northern Indiana looks to take advantage of some space, plays the ball up. Great job by Spencer blocking that ball. Wasn't
quite the right ball, as number 7 had earned a little bit of space behind Avery Dresky, but the ball was right into the teeth of this wind, and so maybe he was gunning for that winger and he just couldn't get it there. It's a bad turnover right to Brett Swatton, who sees the run from Ty, but just doesn't quite get it even close to him.
And Swatty threw his hand up right in the air. He knew that he overplayed that ball just a little bit. So we've got a wonderful crowd that's still pouring in here.
Another thing that I think we're seeing is Northern Indiana gives an egregious shoulder to Ty Uziek's face.
Who gets up and immediately loves it.
A lot of playing out of position, and I don't mean that as a criticism. Ty and Swatty and other guys up along this front line and throughout the midfield are feeling really comfortable. Now, that is something that has been consistent through this year in a positive and a negative way. It has occasionally led to some bad transition moments, some goals at times going the other way, and so positive at all times, but hope that it stays that way.
As that ball was played in by number 15, Max Crawford. Looks like KP tried to put a head on it, just kind of put it in a tough direction.
And this wind is so far really messing with Northern Indiana. They are, by and large, trying to play the big ball more often than the home team, and it has not created any danger for them, with the exception of a very early, very offside run that Lincoln Homolka snuffed out anyway.
Yeah, we saw that earlier with their latest ball that they played up. Spencer Powell was able to knock that down. Just wasn't a very good placed ball. That ball was not placed very well either, as the goalie had to come out a little bit to come get that.
I don't feel like a homer calling that just lousy. really interesting to see the pressure that Northern Indiana seems to be playing under today. They're not moving the ball or moving themselves like a team that's on 21 points. They are playing with a little desperation as they're almost in a back two at points as their keeper is 45 yards upfield. Center backs are well past the midway line. And they got no help back on this corner that goes short.
Yeah, definitely an interesting formation for sure.
Nobody in the box. A bad turnover, but they turn it right back. They go back to the keeper.
Yeah, they've got their keeper very active tonight so far as he places it right to the Robins. Brett Swan will try to win that out of the air.
Fans and coaches calling for a call. I'm not sure what. Oh, okay.
As the ref finally decides to blow his whistle for that one.
It all looked pretty clean to me, and now the ref says too fast. Bring it back.
Bring it on back. Where's our ball boy at? As the ball boy tried to give the ball to the ref, but he told him, just toss it in, bud.
Five's got 7 down. He sees him. He plays him. They got it covered. Oh, they lost that runner. But again, just a ambitious ball that finds nobody. Goes over the goal line, so Max Crawford will not be pressed into service for a 8th-minute throw here. Lincoln goes deep. And for a mid-season roster ad, Lincoln Homolka has been just not a beat missed with the long balls off the goal kick and otherwise out of the back there.
As Jack Voigt draws a penalty there.
And this is going to be interesting for Lansing Common. Jack Heald opts to go quick.
Very quick there.
Swati saw his chance to take it in the box. Back to Ben Derby. Jack Heald calling for the switch. Derby doesn't hear him, but earns a throw. And number 21 for Northern Indiana seems to not know where the out-of-bounds line is.
No, he does not.
That's okay.
As surprisingly, that wasn't Max Crawford taking that throw, and that was Avery.
Hopefully that was a little bit of practice drill this week.
Looks like the refs aren't loving us going too fast for both sides.
A little bit of off-mic talk from us earlier this week, folks, was, boy, Lansing Common loves to have Max Crawford on the throw-ins. Asked him about that. Ran into him at Ozone's Brewhouse during the U.S. men's national team earlier this week, and he said it's not a Max thing. It's not a coaching thing. It's a player thing. They're calling for him every single time. And so, you know, the coaches don't like to overcoach. Sorg always says, I don't have you on a string. You don't need to play like that. But it does look like they worked on a little bit in practice. Like, we've got more options. There are a lot of guys in this team that can maybe throw it 90% as far as Max Crawford.
As Ben Derby's hustled back. That'll be a throw-in for the Robins.
Derby calling for maybe a little bit of a talking to for number 24 on the high kick, but snuffed out the danger at least. Spence Powell looking for the throw-in now. Looking for a ball.
Can we get a ball? There we go.
Hopefully that one's regulation. Spence checks it out, believes it's about 12 PSI.
Or so he thinks. As Northern Indiana will look to attack here.
Crawford beaten by that header, but gets right back into it.
As number 5 in the middle, he was really calling for that ball, and he gets it.
And Max has been talking about these guys for a few weeks. He is no stranger to the fellas from Bethel and from the greater Michiana area. As came out of Paw Paw High School. And so spends a lot of time in that portion of the state, obviously lives there, and drives through there on his way to Aurora, where he plays his college ball. Great header by Max.
That's going to be a throw-in for the Robins. As we're through the first 10 minutes here. Look to play a ball
Really
up.
nice ball by Ty.
As Swati will look to pressure the keeper. The
No.
keeper having to use a little footwork.
No question that, no surprise to see Brett Swadden up there pressuring the keeper as the back five of Lansing Common scrambles to get back. No problems. Oh, really unfortunate by Lincoln there. Just quite an ambitious attempt by the fella from Northern Indiana. Finds the back of the net. Lincoln had it, no problem in the breadbasket, and just leaked out in between the legs. Got to be lucky to be good.
Scored in the 12th minute by number 2, Diego Dos Santos.
As the Robins will look to get this one back. As that ball is just played way too far.
3 attempts to get the ball into the box, and maybe a little frustration there on that ball off TJ Withrow's left foot. Jack Heald now looking to press a little bit and then falls back into his double pivot. Kevin Payne.
Thank you, ref.
Playing way out of position. And boy, just really hope that isn't actually an injury, as there is not a lot of depth along this Lansing Common bench. And also just hate to see guys get hurt on such a...
Yellow card shown to Northern Indiana FC number 20, Noe Feria.
Well, Marshall, this game is certainly not being officiated like the reserves friendly earlier today.
No, it is not. For those of you that were watching earlier on the live stream, the refs did not want to seem to blow the whistle in some
Hey, listen,
spots where
it was a
probably
friendly.
should have blown it.
There was no stoppage time given. The intentions were clear. Those boys wanted to get home. I think they get paid the same amount no matter what, but certainly that stoppage time can add up. As Kevin Payne looking to knock it back into the box, does so, but nobody home. Northern Indiana trying to get off, and unable to get in transitions. TJ Withrow bangs it back into the box. Just can't find anybody.
Yeah, it's looking like he played that just behind a couple of the guys that were up in the box. You know what's funny? I think I believe it's the same ref crew as oh, it's not?
It is not, as I was heading to pick up pizza for the teams at halftime and watched the new ref crew walking in. But certainly a lot of overlap in these mid-Michigan FIFA refereeing crews
For sure.
throughout Lansing Common home games. And may even be some overlap in this one. I just know the head ref is not the same fella.
As that ball was played out from the back.
My goodness, another dangerous ball back to the keeper. Calmly plays it back to the left center back, who's looking for options.
Yeah, there have been about 3 or 4 of those tonight so far where the keeper has had to show off a little footwork in order to get out of some danger. Obviously because of the pressure that Lansing Commons forwards are applying to him. As that ball be just out of reach, and it'll result in a throw-in for the Robins.
Once again, Northern Indiana going with the big ball and does not find its target, except once when the target was the back of the net.
As Max Crawford was not pleased there, as they told him to go back, but just where he threw it from, he returned right to the exact same spot.
Able to make up the distance. What Max said to me is he kind of accidentally took a throw in in training one evening, and the rest of the team said, "Oh man, you could do that." The job was informally his. As Spencer goes in with the head, sees the high cleat.
And it's shown this year, obviously.
Pleasantries are exchanged, and offsides is called. Back to the Robins.
We see the distance that Max can get on his throw.
No doubt, no doubt. And you know what? Not surprising for either the coaching staff or much of the backbone of this Lansing Common squad to be trying to be as dangerous as possible with set pieces. That's something that perhaps not so much this year, but throughout the history of this club, set pieces have been a huge part of the scoring that we've been able to generate. Avery Dresky running to catch up. Spence just gets beat on the 1-2, hustle to get back.
Yeah, that was a good give and go by Northern Indiana there. As that ball's played towards the middle.
Kevin Payne had his man locked down.
It's fortunate there for the Robins.
And Jack Voigt playing all the way back on defense. Plays his man directly into Max Crawford. Gets shoved in the back with no call, but he's still hustling on defense. Almost forces a negative ball.
That one's deflected. And it'll result in a corner kick for Northern Indiana. As the Robins will look to get set defensively here. As that was a really good ball played in, and it'll result in a goal for Northern Indiana.
A wide open header in the box goes absolutely nowhere, but the rebound gets cleaned up in short order, and boy, the scoreline certainly does not reflect the run of play here through the first 18.
Northern Indiana FC goal scored in the 18th minute by number 5, Jacob Bartlett.
As the Robins will look to reset here, as they face a 2-0 deficit within the first 18 minutes of play.
Spence kicking a nobody there, and that's exactly who it goes to.
As Northern Indiana will retain possession once again. Still a lot of soccer to be played, but just unfortunate to put yourself in this position early in the game. As that was nearly a goal and nearly an own goal.
And I'm not convinced the last one wasn't. I didn't see who it came off of, but it didn't look clean.
No, it did not. It looked like it was kind of batted a little bit within the box.
Spence's clearance, unfortunate to find Avery's foot, and it goes out for another corner.
It's another good ball played in, and a result.
Another free header in the box, and it's 3 for Northern Indiana.
Northern Indiana FC goal scored in the 20th minute. Number 17, Martin Von Duke.
the Robins will reset once again here. Just looking to find anything right now. It's another big ball played up to
And they're going
Northern Indiana keeper as he'll come out of his box once again and play it out.
kind of inexplicably adventuresome again, but no arguments to be made when you're 8 games in, sitting on 24 points.
As this ball's played up once again, yet another big ball played up by Northern Indiana. As Lincoln came out and tries best to deflect that, and it'll result in a corner kick for Northern Indiana.
I didn't see anybody in red touching that ball, but sure.
This ball will be played in. Nearly headed in, but good job by the Robins getting that ball out of there. As Northern Indiana will look to play another ball in. As they'll play this ball back. Take the space being given to him. As once again, it just looks like the Robins are just not being able to beat that little give and go that Northern Indiana is presenting right now.
The old Sunday League 1-2.
Lincoln will play this ball up right out of bounds, and it'll be a Northern Indiana throw-in. Ty Usiak will win that ball.
Northern Indiana fans calling for a foul as Ty successfully took the ball off a man who's got about 6 inches and 75 pounds on him.
Northern Indiana just continues to push the ball upfield with some of these long balls that we stated before. TJ Withrow was looking for a call there, but did not get it, as Northern Indiana will look to attack again. So this ball's played in. KP with the header to get it out of their box. As the Robins will look to move upfield.
Looking to create some transition here. Guys just pivoting and playing it backwards way too often.
Spencer Powell will play this ball up to no one, as looks like some miscommunication between him and Avery. As Northern Indiana will look to attack, they'll play another yet.
Excellent tackle by Max.
As that was another big ball that Max was having to come up and defend, as Northern Indiana will look to move quickly. KP with good help there, hoping to clear that ball out. As Northern Indiana will draw the call. Ref felt like Ben Derby got a little too handsy there, and they were able to draw the call. That shot on goal will go.
Appeared to be going for goal.
That'll drift way to the right, and it'll be a goal kick for the Robins as they'll look to move fast. Lincoln plays it right to Ben Derby. Ben Derby will sling it up towards the middle of the field. Right to the Northern Indiana goalie, who has yet again come way out of his box to retrieve yet another long ball that just has not been able to find any of our forwards. That touch was just a little too outstretched, as Spencer was able to give that back to his keeper, Lincoln. Lincoln will look to play this ball from the backfield. Send it up to Brett Swatton. Swatty just was not able to win the header there. Plays another ball towards the middle.
Really nice by Spence.
Yeah, it's a good job getting ahead on that. As Indiana will retain possession. Seen a lot of quick passes from Northern Indiana so far tonight. It's been helping set up a lot of stuff. Just simple give and goes. Passes in space. That can really wear you out defensively, and I think we've seen that a little bit tonight so far.
Yeah, no doubt. Chemistry certainly something that is hard to come by at this level, as you're just playing 10 weeks together. But if you're able to put together a roster that's mostly from the same college, makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely for teams like Northern Indiana and Holland Rovers, just dudes that have been playing together for a while and know where other guys want the ball, where they don't want the ball. And just to be able to have that effective communication can go a long way. For any team at any level. As they'll play this ball up once again. As they look to play it towards the middle, as that'll be a shot on goal. This looks like...
Will not be a shot on goal. As
looks like that will not count.
Offsides.
Refs waving the flag. As it looks like we will take a quick water break here to get our players rehydrated in this heat.
Unfortunately, no wildlife were trapped inside the stadium
no more raccoons
at any point this afternoon, so I don't have a story similar to last week Apologies to Marshall, to Scott, and to our viewing audience. Maybe next week.
Maybe next week. You never know.
30 minutes, kind of a interesting time to take a, what, to my knowledge, was not a planned for hydration break.
Yeah, I did not hear anything about this either.
As we've got
Looks like we got some
Josh Madiri, Daniel Silva, and Seth Russ getting loose on the sideline, getting ready to come in. I don't. Obviously, Daniel Silva, stalwart in that midfield. Seth Russ, a winger, striker, false nine. I don't know what the intention is with Josh Madiri, as he's been struggling to carve out a spot in this roster, but they are coming in. Ty Uziak is coming out, so Seth Russ will be going in at the 9, at the striker position. Madiri is pointing the 4th official to someone who he's coming on for.
We're grateful for the time they'll be spending with us and look forward to helping them move forward with their careers.
Hey, no, we got 3 subs coming in. Just looks like Coach Sorg is kind of looking for a spark right now. The Robins have a 3-0 deficit, put themselves in a tough position, but still a lot of soccer to be played. This ball will be played up.
Josh Madiri wins the header. We know that. And we see TJ Withrow on the sideline.
As Daniel Silva entered the game, he has the ball right now.
Yeah, it looks like Withrow came out. Madiri is playing somewhere else on the pitch, and the Robins have shifted into a back 4.
During the water break, 3 substitutions for Lansing Common. Coming in at number 3, Seth Russ. Number 16, Daniel Silva. And number 17, Josh Mattery.
It's Josh Mattery showing just resilience in getting that ball.
Excellent tackle. Finds
So it'll be
Seth.
swung around to Seth Russ, who kicked it in midair.
Great ball on the volley by Seth, just unable to quite get it on frame.
Yeah, that was all set up by Josh Maderi, just
Yes, it was.
showing his resilience and just wanting to get that ball.
I think they got him playing on the wing, but he was sitting in that 10 position for that. And really nice by him. Seth Russ on this corner.
This ball will be played in. As Northern Indiana was able to play that ball out.
Brett Swatton takes a well-placed forearm to the back and no call.
And the refs did not want to seem to call that.
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
But they will call that.
I don't know about that. Oh, okay. All right. This is why I can't watch soccer. Comes ringing up into the booth from the stands as number 25 quickly walks off whatever was ailing his now healed leg.
Whatever seemed to be hurting did not seem to be hurting them for very long, Josh.
Apologies to number 25's parents if they're watching, but you know, we don't know his name. Well done by Jack Heald to win that. Great ball.
This ball up to Josh Maderi. He's being double teamed right now. He's looking for some help. He's got Brett Swatton there. Swatty will look to, as just got pressure there for a second. It'll be a throw in for the Robins.
Spencer Powell telling him to hold. All kinds of options in the box. Seth Russ dribbling through traffic. Finds nobody with that ball into the box.
As Northern Indiana was able to head that out. And the Robins will look to reset here. As Jack Heel just played that into the Northern Indiana defender.
.25's down again. No call this time.
As Robins were looking to attack there, but it just looks like the ball was a little too strong, and it'll be an easy save for their keeper. So that'll be a quick offsides call.
And it looks like Daniel Silva went in for Avery Dresky. So he's holding down that midfield.
That's good to know.
With Jack Heald wearing the 6.
Spencer Powell will play this back to Ben Derby. Derby will play a long ball up as, once again, the keeper has come up tonight a lot in stopping some of these long balls. Have seen him come out about 10, 15 yards out of his box each time. As Northern Indiana will look to move here.
Seth doing work in the high press and calling for his teammates to join him.
As Northern Indiana try to play yet another long ball. Looks like the wind kind of stopped a little bit of it.
Called for a handball there, actually.
As Robbins will take over. Ben Derby moving quickly, giving that ball to Kevin Payne. KP plays it out to Ben Derby. This is another long ball yet again. As that'll be a goal for Max Crawford, who just completely overtook the goalie. As I said before, the goalie had been coming out 10 to 15 yards each time, and this time Max Crawford came out and said, not this time. As he just beat the goalie straight up, got around him for an easy goal.
And Max Crawford sitting there on that back line says, you're going to play that far out of position, keeper? I'm going to play even farther out of position.
As Max Crawford
beat you.
As he looks towards the Common fans and gets them revved up. As he was amped up after that goal, rightfully so.
And that was just more lazy play out of the back by Northern Indiana.
It was.
As they've been doing all day. That is not the story of this match, as the story of this match is one really long ball and 2 free headers in the box off corners for Northern Indiana, but they have just been getting away with all kinds of nonsense, and Max Crawford says, not this time.
As that ball will go right to Lincoln, and he'll pick it up. Yeah, the ball was played all off the long ball by Kevin Payne out of the backfield. Just looks like, yeah, it was just more lazy play on the defensive side for Northern Indiana. Just looks like some of their guys in the backfield just didn't go after it, and Max Crawford, being the dog that he is, went and chased it. As that ball's played over the middle.
Jack Voigt with the saucy ball that stays in. Swati going to chase it. Seth Russ looking for options. Unfortunately, they were in the same spot, so nobody there for it. It's going to be a goal kick. And you know, lazy may be a little bit unfair, but just this keeper's willingness to leave his box and go for an adventure when it's completely unnecessary has been a little shocking. Again, can't argue with results. Northern Indiana, 7-0-0 through 7 games, just unheard of in the Midwest Premier League or at any level through a 10-game summer season. But yeah, Max Crawford makes him pay there. Says enough of this.
As Max Crawford looks to lead the charge again here. So play a ball to the middle, and that'll be batted out, but it will result in a corner kick for the Robins. Seth Russ was looking to move fast there. Ref will say, nope, not today.
They do love to say that.
Seth will look to play this one in. He's going back post. Ben Derby's right there. He'll head it. KP had a chance. Just looks like he slipped a little on the turf there. But that was an opportunity for the Robins. Yeah, and I brought it up about 3 or 4 times already tonight, just this keeper's willingness to just go out.
So they got a sweeper keeper back there.
10, 15 yards out of his box each time. And the Robins made him pay for it this time.
You know, and it's clear that they want to be on the ball. And so
That's Seth's looking for a call there, and finally we get one.
the hand checks have really gotten, as the yellow card finally comes out, Seth is giving it to the official.
Jack Heald shaves him off the ball a little bit. You gotta love the passion from Seth, though. As KP looks to mediate any tension that there still is between Seth and the official. As Coach Shore will tell his players to zip it. Max Crawford will play this ball in. It's a good ball. Oh,
great ball right off the play clock by KP. Just a little too tall for Kevin Payne, and it was well placed because of the wind by Max. It just drifted a little bit on him and a little too tall for KP to get it back into the 6 like he wanted to.
Yeah, I was just about to bring up, these balls seem to be drifting a lot more in the air than they usually do, obviously because of the wind, but.
Max again doing work, forcing a turnover, trying to force a transition moment. The long ball by Northern Indiana goes to absolutely no one.
And as Ben Derby will play this out from the back, and he'll play it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Northern Indiana.
Silva doing great work to not get beat by his man there.
Yeah, it's been a very physical game so far through these first 44 minutes.
And no surprise, Jack Voigt playing way out of position, doing work on the defensive end.
Spencer Powell kicks that one out of bounds. As Northern Indiana was looking to attack there, but Spencer Powell said, not today, as he booted that one out of bounds. So it'll be a throw-in for Northern Indiana. As Silva looks to pressure the ball, and he does so. Seth Russ looks to apply some pressure to the keeper as he plays that ball up right out of bounds. And it'll be a throw-in for Lansing Common.
The fourth official has indicated there will be at least 2 minutes of additional time.
2 minutes extra time in a half with 4 goals and 2 yellow cards. And some injuries.
We've seen it all, Josh.
You know, I gotta say, after the World Cup a couple years ago, when they made a concerted effort to really try to document the amount of time that was wasted and at least put it back, I thought we were going to see a sea change, and it's not happened.
As KP does a great job of cutting that ball off.
Wonderful teamwork by Kevin Payne and Ben Derby to clear that ball off the line.
Was almost surprised that the Northern Indiana player just didn't want to go right at the goal, as he elected to play that ball in towards the middle, but our guy Kevin Payne, holding the anchor down in the backfield, says not today. As that is a blatant shove that Northern Indiana is saying they didn't do, but they clearly did, and it'll be a kick for the Robins. It's gotten a little chippy here, Josh.
Yeah, not entirely surprising, as you know, you got one top of the table squad who played both a reserves match here a couple hours ago and an evening friendly against Liga MX side back home in Indiana yesterday. If you're feeling like you lost a step, you know, maybe throw an elbow.
As Northern Indiana switches field, but nope. Ref says not today. As that'll conclude
Northern
our
Indiana
first half.
really complaining about that call for halftime. It didn't look like an especially dangerous run to me in a 3-1 game, but we're going to go to halftime now. Lansing Common's going to regroup, and we will see you back here in 15 minutes. Welcome back to Eastern Stadium. Second half kicking off right now. The first half, a back-and-forth affair. The scoreline favored the visitors, even if the run of play didn't so much. But 2 free headers in the box off corners was the story. Based on the halftime, Seth Russ put it away off the press. Based on the halftime talk, I was going to say, expect Lansing Common to come out pressing, expect Seth Russ to come out playing angry, and expect Lansing Common to be looking to force the keeper to play to his left side. You saw all of those things. I guess I'm a wizard.
Josh, I want to start every half off like that.
I predicted the future after it happened. How about that? Seth Russ fuming.
No better way to get this
in
crowd
the locker room. In the locker room at halftime. But the whole team really saying positive energy. Don't give up the fight. This next 10 minutes are going to determine it. And also pointing out that this Northern Indiana side really chirping at each other towards the end of that first half and saying, if we can get another goal here, it's really going to change the state of the second half. So how about that, Marshall?
Yeah, that was awesome right there. To come out of the half like that. And obviously, as we said before, some guys were a little frustrated, but it was all if positive frustration is a thing, then I would say it was that, because even though, I mean, obviously they went back into the half, they were down 2 goals, but there were a lot of things towards the second half of that first half that were really positive, and they were swinging some momentum, and they were playing some good balls in. They just weren't capitalizing a little bit, but good to see Seth Russ come out there and set the tone early with that goal.
And Lansing Common in transition once again. Jack Heel just barely beaten to that ball by the Northern Indiana keeper, who is, as we've said, quite adventurous.
Yes, he is.
Had Seth Russ on the switch. It just daring the side judge to put up the offside flag. But yeah, a lot of energy in that locker room, and Max Crawford looking to play forward as well.
And once again, that was just a goal that was just off of sheer hustle, as Max Crawford's was earlier. Seth Russ did the exact same there. Did the exact same thing by applying pressure as he just did there, as the Northern Indiana keeper booted it right out of bounds.
And that was that was not a physical shortcoming by the Northern Indiana keeper there.
No.
That was his right foot. That's where he wants to be.
Yes.
That's what he wants to play with. And he just put that right into Seth Russ. And as soon as Seth got out of the way, it was sailing out of bounds as Max Crawford's put it in. Free header for Extreme, unable to get a full head on it. And Northern Indiana clears it backwards for a corner kick.
All the momentum have shifted towards the Robins right now, as Northern Indiana looks not rattled, but a little uncomposed so far.
We talked about vibes. What we did not talk about was the formation shift. 4-3-3 for Lansing Common. Brett Swatton back on that back line as Seth Russ sends the corner in. And one of the disappointing things I would say for Brent Sorg and for regular Lansing Common watchers is a lot of these corners have been about 4 feet off the ground. Not really what Coach Sorg or any of us want to see. Really just completely taking Kevin Payne out of the game on those set pieces, and not creating danger in a way that we're used to seeing. As Northern Indiana again getting pressed. Again, vulnerable to some chaos.
Spencer Powell looks to play that ball towards the middle. It'll just soar off his left foot, though, out of bounds, and then result in a goal kick for Northern Indiana. But I love the intensity so far within these first 4 minutes.
Nice bit of work there by somebody in the Northern Indiana box. But Spencer's attempted cross just went out of bounds. And again, Northern Indiana's keeper is just really betraying the panic that he's playing with.
See Ty Uziak coming at him with a full head of steam.
And they've got nobody on their bench.
No.
I just saw a fella in a yellow shirt coming out of the stands for Northern Indiana. So their other keeper on the bus today is not in the squad for the second game.
Yeah, the more Lansing has applied pressure, the more seems he
another
seems to be a little more uncomposed back there.
Seth Russ forcing it right to Max Crawford. Spence Powell on his back getting called for the foul.
Questionable call there, but we'll play on. Good to see the Robins really amp
And
up
here
the
we
pressure,
are
though.
in the 51st minute, Northern Indiana possessing the ball for the first time off a foul. And playing a square ball off a free kick.
Yeah, I've noticed even on the goal kicks that the goalie just tends to kick it about 5 yards out to his right each time to the nearest defender.
Lansing's press has him playing negative once again. One thing that I want to point out here, not to be negative Nancy, but this was said in the halftime locker room. The importance here is not to overpress. So we don't want to get too exposed on the back end, like is happening perhaps here in transition, because we're pressing too hard. And that does not, as Brett Swatton wins the ball in his own box. And that's Brett Swatton is just a hell of a player to coach and to coach against. He puts coaches in a terrible spot, because where are you supposed to put him? You hate to take away one of your best scoring threats, but you also hate to lose that defending ability if you put him at the top of the formation.
So it'll be a shot on goal. It was deflected off a defender for Northern Indiana, as the Robins were looking to move fast there as they played that ball up really fast and got some guys in motion towards the middle.
Yeah, Ty Uziak thought he had a worldie there, but just unable to get it on frame. And again, as the formation shifted at halftime, Lansing Common, and as Northern Indiana has struggled to settle in to possession, this is the first time Lansing Common's been off the ball. And so looking to see them settle into that back four. Max Crawford wins it, as Northern Indiana still struggling with the wind. And Extreme there, newly into the game, playing at the attacking midfielder in this 4-3-3. Seth Russ is just playing like a man possessed.
That was a poor ball played by Northern Indiana there. Just played it right to our guy, KP. And the Robins will take possession.
Jack Heald with all kinds of space finds Ty Uziak, who's got all kinds of space.
Got a full head of steam, Ty does. He just was not able to cut.
Tried to play it right into those two guys. Really nice by Jack Heald. Ty's got it again. A little bit of pressure. Forced it to Extreme.
So that'll be a shot on goal. And it'll just soar high.
That's so tough to do in that spot. Is Josh Maderi just sends it over the crossbar. It's almost like a golf shot where you pick your head up there, and it's so easy to put it high when, you know, what you really just got to do is find either corner, but easier said than done.
I'm loving the intensity that the Robins have set so far through the first 8 minutes. Really coming out and putting their foot down and saying, we're not going to go down without a fight. And they put themselves in a great position here to come back.
Plenty of time. Just need to stay calm. See what happens next, as Northern Indiana has 5 guys warming up.
It looks like that was just a little bit of a miss hit by Max Crawford there. As Northern Indiana will retain possession.
And Seth Russ is doing a little bit of directing traffic down there.
He really is.
Him and Jack Heald caught on the wrong side of the ball there, but
So that'll be an offsides call.
no harm, no foul.
It'll be a free kick for the Robins here. Looks like Ben Derby will be the one playing the ball out from the backfield.
Substitutions for
Northern Indiana making a double substitution here.
20, 19 for 21.
as Ben Derby awaits to play this ball out. And he does so to Brett Swatton.
Swati taking space and then playing just a miss hit and creates a transition moment for Northern Indiana.
As they'll play this ball towards the middle. It's a great job by Kevin Payne cutting off that shot.
Excellent work by KP.
It's a veteran move right there to step in and block that shot. As Northern Indiana will look to attack here, playing the ball to the left side. They'll play it back towards the middle, as it'll be a shot on goal, and that will be a goal for Northern Indiana.
Impact subs just came on and were passing it around. It seemed like the mentality really shifted. No idea whether anybody on this Northern Indiana team is a starter or played last night or really anything about them other than that they're 7-0-0. But certainly the panic that we've seen in those other guys seem to subside as number 19 and number 25 took the pitch, and they passed it back and forth and found the top corner there, and then decided to take an impromptu water break.
Number 25, Miguel Martins.
As the Robins find themselves facing a 2-goal deficit. Plenty of soccer to play, though, so far. As they'll look to attack here. The ball will be played towards the middle, but it's cut off by a Northern Indiana defender.
And, you know, you could make an argument for all 4 of those goals to be unlucky, but what you could say about all 4 of those goals is it's just defenders not playing their assignments.
Yep,
there is no reason for either of those 2 guys to have that much space. And boy, he made the most of it, but no reason to leave them alone to play around in the corner like that. Max Crawford goes for the long throw. Not able to get a ton of air under it.
As Northern Indiana keeper will come and push that ball out.
It looks like Kevin Payne was called offside. And looks like, no. I believe that was a foul call, as the Northern Indiana player is writhing in pain in his own goal. Number 17.
As it looks like he'll get up under his own power. As we will play on.
Detecting a theme here.
As Seth Russ cuts that pass off. Moving with the full head of steam, he'll give it out to Extreme. Extreme looking to play the ball out to the left side.
He's got Tyuziak in the back post, just
That ball will just
really
soar a little too far.
well too high for him.
As Northern Indiana will play another short pass out from their box. As they look to attack again here, but Ben Derby will
Just
great job by Swati sticking his nose in there,
yeah, really nice defending as
retaining possession.
every one of those tackles ended up with a Northern Indiana player on their back, but with a Lansing Common player with the ball. It's now headed back in transition, but nobody in the box for Northern Indiana. And a
quick
dribbled out of bounds.
Quick wave of the flag from the ref. That'll be a throw-in for the Robins. As Brett Swatton wants the ball. That'll be a throw-in for Northern Indiana. as Northern Indiana will look to move the ball up here. They'll play it out wide. Max Crawford applying a lot of pressure there.
Just a bad touch by Ben Derby. And
So it'll result in a corner kick for Northern Indiana, as we have a couple of subs coming in for the Robins.
Jack Voigt coming back in for Extreme, and Avery Dresky
Subbing in for Lansing Common, number
coming in
12,
for
Jack
Brett
Voigt.
Swatton.
And number 8, Avery Dresky.
This looks like a couple of Common and Northern Indiana player tripped up on each other. Fans are looking for a call. Not going to get one, as Northern Indiana will play a ball in. So that'll be an easy save. So we'll throw this one out wide. Robin's taking advantage of the space being given to him. As Kevin Payne has the ball, he'll look to move up. We'll play it to Max Crawford. Max will give it to Avery, who boots it high into the air. Seth Russ with a really good touch, but will just lose it.
A Northern Indiana player now lying on the ground, writhing and screaming in pain. And shades of 2023, as a red card is given to Seth Russ for that. Gonna step away as 8 receives medical attention. This match enters the 66th minute. It is Northern Indiana 4, Lansing Common 2. Lansing Common down to 10 men after Seth Russ' second yellow of the match for a tackle on number 8 for Northern Indiana, who hit the deck for a few minutes, received some attention from the trainer.
Northern Indiana's looking to attack here, taking advantage of space on the left side. He'll play it back. As Josh stated before, they're Lansing Common down to 10 players.
"2024 marks the premiere of some new graphic packages, thanks to Scott Oberlander and the entire team behind the best stream in lower level soccer in this country. We're showing off a new score bug. Unfortunate that it came under such circumstances, but here we are. Ben Derby, the target of a violent tackle. It goes overlooked by the officials. And the ball's in the back of the net. 5-2, Northern Indiana, as Ben Derby is still lying on the turf. I've never seen anything like this.
We've lost lost a little control of this game, if we're being honest here.
Northern Indiana FC goal scored in the 68th minute. Number 25, Miguel Martinez.
As it looks like we have a yellow. Being pulled on somebody for the Robins, as Ben Derby was.
Just layers to this, as the nicest man in America, Kevin Payne, appears to receive a yellow for chatting with the ref. No stoppage for Ben Derby, lying on the turf 40 yards away from the goal. And yeah,
We will play on.
20 minutes to go in this one. I would say it's good to see that Ben Derby's okay, but he's as tough as they come. So we're going to have to wait till after the match to find out if he's actually okay. Obviously not a lot of center back depth on the Robins, but you know that it would take more than that to knock him out.
Yeah, looking to get through these next 20 minutes injury-free. That's for sure.
I'm sorry, did the PA just say that Ben Derby was shown the yellow?
I believe he just did.
Okay, so that is my mistake. The yellow was shown to the Lansing Common player who was laying on the ground injured. That's a new one for me. We're breaking all kinds of ground here.
Tonight's had a little bit of everything, Josh.
Greatest league in the world, as Kyle Clayton would say. Shout out Kyle Clayton.
Northern Indiana's looking to attack once again here. So that ball will be batted out of bounds.
Derby definitely just a little bit not at 100%, shall we say. It's a change of direction and definitely in some pain down there.
As the ball's played towards the middle, Avery will head that out. As Northern Indiana will look to reset here. As that ball's played just a little too far. To result in a goal kick for the Robins.
Ty Uziak takes the ball off his man. Not a lot of help up there as the Robins are down a man, but just nice
attack.
turn. Great ball. Finds Jack Voigt, who has it taken off him in the corner. And with 18 minutes left in this one, Northern Indiana aiming to play the ball into their own corner.
They're looking to attack here yet again, as there's the offsides.
That was
pretty obvious. Took long enough, but
about 15 yards behind where the official ended up throwing the flag up.
Eventually got the call. Eventually got that good old flag extended up in the air. It looks like we have a couple of new Robins that are looking to check in here.
Fetty Omar and Kyle Buchan getting loose.
As that ball was deflected, but it'll find. As Ty Uziak tried to hit that off the volley. It'll just soar a little high and left.
Just a little bit. The keeper made absolutely no attempt for it, and it
No, he did not.
dipped and almost found the crossbar.
This looks like it'll be Ty Uziak.
Subbing in for Lansing Common, number 9, Fetty Omar. And number 2, Kyle Buchan.
Fetty wearing number 9, in at the 9 for Ty. Kyle Buchan wearing number 2, in at right wing. Great win by Max, but can't find anybody wearing red.
Northern Indiana will play this across, but not until
Goodness.
we get yet another yellow card. This time it'll be on number 2, Kyle Buchan for the Robins.
Yellow card issued to Lansing Common, number 6, Jack Heald.
Excuse me, Jack Heald.
Was he involved in that play, or was there something that happened? The injured player for Northern Indiana is now up, taking the free kick.
If that tells you anything. But we will play on.
It tells you that we've got some fine training staff.
We sure do.
one of my most memorable Lansing Common moments, personally. This game was not streamed because it was unintentionally delayed a couple hours because of a middle school football practice. It was not a Midwest Premier League match. It was a NISA Cup match against Metro Louisville. And they had a fella on their squad who had played some minutes in Liga MX that year. So, but because of the, they had rostered some USL League 2 guys from Kalamazoo. Obviously easier for them to make the trip than for the whole squad from Louisville. It's a NISA Cup match, and so looser roster rules. But this Mexican professional player was given a straight red near the end of the game, and under the unique NISA Cup rules, he was required to leave the premises. Now, Marshall, do you think that this man left the premises in any sort of hurry?
No.
And because of the sweet time that he was taking in leaving the property and heading to that away locker room, walking around the track, which, as you can see from the visitors bench on our left to the visitors locker room on the other side of the stadium, goes right by the home bench on our right. He was required to be accompanied by a staff member, and the staff member who drew the short straw that evening was yours truly.
How was that experience?
It was an experience, that's for sure. Metro Louisville. Shout out Metro Louisville. There was a picture in his Instagram. I looked after the game of him celebrating Ache Ache's birthday with him in Houston, of course. You know, everybody wearing Dynamo gear and the like.
Of course.
Yeah. Where else would they be? Why not? Why not be friends with Herrera? We've seen some things here at Eastern Stadium. I'm willing to wager that the most memorable sporting events at Eastern Stadium have been Lansing Common soccer games.
That was one heck of a story, though.
In the history of the stadium, because the millage passed and it was built just before COVID, and so we were some of the first tenants here in 2021.
As play will resume.
Needless to say, our friend walked a little bit quicker after he cleared the home bench and stopped chirping.
They always seem to get out of there in a hurry after they get their 2 cents in.
Right, exactly. There was a little bit of a limp that also mysteriously disappeared once he made it to the locker room.
It's funny how that works. It's almost like your brain starts to compute a little bit. I'm not really injured.
It was an incredible, hard-fought match too. That perhaps may have cost us some energy and some points in the Midwest Premier League later that year. But no regrets. I mean, for the handful of fans who were here in the middle of the night on a weeknight for the accidentally 2-hour delayed NISA Cup match, it was memorable.
As we nearly reach our 80th minute here, it's Lansing Common facing a 3-goal deficit.
And Ben Derby still seems to be in a little bit of pain, but playing way out of position as Lansing has, purposefully or not, shifted into a little bit of a back 3 here, chasing this game down 5-2 with 10 men.
As the refs will tell Max Crawford, you cannot go that far. I have a feeling Max might make up for some of the lost ground. As he'll come up, get thrown to Kyle Buchan, who seemed to be grabbed, but ref says play on.
I always love that when the ref says, I'm not going to call the foul, but rather than calling the foul, I'm gonna award possession to the team that clearly should not have possession here on the throw in, just so it's a makeup call.
Just to really rub it in. As the keeper for Northern Indiana played that ball out. As they'll look to push the ball up. Avery was applying some pressure there, just seemed to lose his footing as Spencer Powell comes in and with a good slide there, boot that ball out.
Great tackle by Spence. And we've got, I would dare say, our best viewership of the season. Hovering around 50 right now. And, you know, not to give too much credit to the away fans, but there are a lot of them in the stands, and presumably they make up some of that 50. So shout out Northern Indiana for traveling well and tuning into the stream. I'm sure you are not fans of everything you've seen or everything you've heard, but 8 games in, sitting on 24 points. And I believe that means they'll be back here. Where else would you rather play a championship game than Eastern Stadium?
There's nowhere else in the world. The world.
Playing against a Great Lakes East champion that, to put it lightly, is to be determined. As that division is tight at the top, about 5 or 6 teams in shouting distance with a few games left. Yeah, and Derby, whether through coaching or not, seems to definitely be playing in a little bit of a left center mid position now. He's pulled himself out of the back line.
We don't know if that was a coach's decision or a Ben Derby decision. But nonetheless, he's still giving it his all. As after that slide that he was a part of earlier, definitely not 100%.
Fetty Omar earning a pass back to the keeper, who favors his right again.
It's been a recurring theme tonight, huh?
A little Spencer Powell pressure. Earns a kick out of bounds, but he deflected it.
Northern Indiana is looking to attack here. Coming in from the left side. So they'll swing it back out to the right. So that'll be a shot on goal, I believe.
That was a shot. It was not on frame.
It was not on frame.
You know, perhaps that tackle he absorbed from Seth Russ earlier is still bothering him a little bit. So he sent that one well over the bar.
So the Robins will push the ball up. Fetty Omar looking for one of his teammates. He'll play it up just out of the reach of Ben Derby, who has found himself up top.
Playing the 9. Kevin Payne and Avery Dresky just not on the same page there, but
As Northern Indiana wanted a call there, but they're not going to get it.
Their entire bench erupted in screaming for a penalty kick in a 5-2 game in the 87th minute.
Let's KP will play this out from the backfield. Play it up to Ben Derby. Derby's looking for someone to pass to. Still trying to play that one over the top. Northern Indiana was ready as they booted that ball out of there. Kyle Buchan will apply some pressure. So it'll result in a throw in for the Robins. So that shot will go just high and a little left. It'll result in a goal kick for Lansing. So we're looking for an offsides there. We're not going to get it. Not surprised.
About 75 seconds left in this one as the referees award a free kick to Northern Indiana. One for good measure for Northern Indiana. It's 6-2 Lansing Common still, one man down. Clock hits 90, no sign of extra time, maybe 4 minutes left in this one.
Northern Indiana FC goal scored in the 90th minute by number 18. The fourth official has indicated at least 4 minutes of added time.
This looks like Northern Indiana will look to attack once again here. So they'll give it right back up.
The cross went directly to Jack Heald.
Sveti Omar plays a good ball over to Kyle Buchan.
Bucky. Bucky one-on-one with the keeper and just unlucky to knock it right into his right leg. Two minutes left in this one, and Northern Indiana looking for a substitution as they now lead 7-2.
Northern Indiana FC goal scored in added time, number 25, Miguel Martinez. Northern Indiana FC substitution, number 22 for number 8.
Really?
3 minutes into extra time, and the referees didn't like that Ben Derby got an early start off the line.
And what do we got? Another yellow? Thought for a second there he pulled out the yellow card, but
Ref calls for full time. That'll do it for this one. Lansing Common not up to the task, to the aggressiveness, to the talkativeness of Northern Indiana. We've got two left here from Eastern Stadium next Sunday at 4 p.m. against 1927 SC, and the following Sunday at 4 p.m. against Tulip City. Until then.